Today at Roaring Table Brewing Company.
When other brewers are saying, you have to go drink this beer,
we go that extra mile, and I really do believe our beer is world class.
As I'm sitting in the tap room, I see 2 beer engines. I see a LUKR handle. I also saw a stichfass. Cody.
Look at you dropping vocabulary words.
I do research.
Yeah. I hate to get fancy, but like almost this ethereal...
Get fancy.
Yeah. Like it seems sweet, but when you swallow it, you realize it's completely dry.
Oh, wow.
Dude.
Welcome to Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer, the podcast that will increase your enjoyment of craft beer and your appreciation for the people who brew it. On this episode, we have traveled, and yes, I mean traveled, to Lake Zurich, Illinois, to go from grain to glass with Lane Fearing. He is the co-owner and head brewer of Roaring Table Brewing. I'm beer drinker and hellraiser Brian Noonan, and all my opinions are strictly my own, for good reason. Behind the camera, of course, is our executive producer, the man with the hair, Cody Goff. Cody, what are you excited about for today's episode?
We're talking to a brewer's brewer. What is Lane doing to his beer that's making brewers say, you gotta drink this guy's beer? Also, what's the big deal about drinking beer from a cask? We actually get into the science and what hits different with your palate, and what's getting brewers into New Zealand hops, and how do they hit your taste buds differently than American hops? Lots of science, lots to learn. Let's get into it.
So we are at Roaring Table Brewing, 739 West Route 22 in Lake Zurich, Illinois. RoaringTable.com is their website. They are known for doing things the hard way, which we're going to get into in just a minute. My guest is Lane Fearing. He is the co-owner and head brewer here at Roaring Table. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So you guys opened in 2017. You're going on your anniversary. We're taping this in October. Your anniversary is coming up in the next couple of weeks. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. Next Saturday, we mark 8 years of doing this.
Congratulations. Let's get to this. So 8 years of doing things the hard way.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean? Because I saw it on your website. I saw you say it in another interview. Yeah. Everybody knows brewing ain't easy. But why do you do things the hard way? Can't you make it easier on yourself?
Well, my joke is that I always started out with a jet black beard 8 years ago, and now I look like Santa Claus because of this. But the real reason is that we didn't have a lot of money to start this place.
Okay.
And we cobbled it together. We used dairy kettles for our hot side. We did splurge on real fermenters and stuff like that for the cold side. But we do everything by hand, whether it's milling in one bag at a time in a bucket and then into the mash tun, graining out. The kettle we have to clean each turn because it's an electric kettle. So we have to take 3 elements out and scrub them by hand. And
between each turn?
Every turn. So it's a lot of work. We just passed the 500 mark in terms of batches, and it's a lot of work. You know, we didn't have the money to buy a real custom built brew house.
Right.
So we made do, and it turns out I think you can make really good beer with less than perfect equipment, but you've got to put your elbows and shoulders into it, you know.
Well, it's proven, because we had a conversation with Eric at Riverlands, and he could not sing your praises enough. And then the more information I read about you, that's not uncommon. Brewers always talk about how you do such great beer in a small place. I mean, you're in a business where, yes, people are friendly, but they're also your competitors. How does it feel to have these other brewers sing your praises like that?
Well, it's obviously gratifying. You know, we know Eric. We know a lot of, the Chicago beer world it's big, but it's small.
Sure.
So to have other brewers whose opinions we respect, appreciate what we're doing, and enjoy our beers makes me feel really happy, you know?
What do you think it is? Because there's a lot of people who make good beer.
Yep.
What is it that takes your beer up I know I'm asking you to kind of toot your own horn.
Yeah.
But
I can do it. I can do that every once in a while.
All right, good. Let's tune it up. What is it? And that sounded weird. But what do you think it is about your beers that make these brewers go, yeah, you got to get to Lake Zurich and try these out?
Well, so Ryan is really the head brewer at Roaring Table. I'm kind of like the whoever is his boss. But Ryan and I think what I say is it's care and concern. We care. I mean, you can teach people I heard a quote about you can teach people the techniques, but you can't teach them to care as much as we do. And we care about every single step, every process, every day.
Okay.
So I think it's just that sort of, having a bit of an obsession about doing it right.
Yeah.
And we do what we think is right all the time, and if we make a mistake, we backtrack and start over again. That's
it, and it shows in the glass.
I like to think so. Yeah. I do.
Listen, all these brewers are not going to be. People don't say nice things about people that they don't think are doing a good job, and especially if they're not in their presence. If they're sitting here across from you, they're blowing smoke up your ass. I said it, Cody. I said ass. Put the mature label on this one. All right, so let's get back to the working hard for a little bit. When I arrived today, and I don't think I'm talking out of school, you were busting your hump in the brew house because there was some emergency going on, right?
Well, it wasn't an emergency as much as today was the day that I had to empty a bunch of bourbon barrels, and they were fighting me every step of the way.
Really?
Yeah, what happens is they sit, you get that wonderful aged character of a big stout, but as the stout evaporates from the inside of that barrel, the top staves dry out, and then when you try to push it out with CO2, the CO2 just leaks through the staves, and it's like I spent 5.5 hours doing battle with just 5 or 6 barrels. It's just it's one of my less favorite tasks, but luckily we don't do it that often because we're not really a big stout brewery.
I was going to say, as I was researching you guys, you do some, but you don't do a lot. Is it one of those styles that even with a smaller brew house that you feel you have to be part of because they're so popular?
I'm kind of two minds when it comes to those stouts. It's not my thing. I don't really drink them.
Okay.
It's just too much sugar, too much of everything. I'm an old guy. I've got a T-shirt that says, "Get off my lawn, I'm drinking lager." So, but I understand the intrigue of it. I will have a snifter of one by the fireside every once in a while. But so we do try to make one a year.
Okay.
But we're not trying to be a big stout brewery. That's just not our thing.
And yet you do brew a wide variety of stuff, which is another thing that people say when they talk about Roaring Table, is that you're not just a lager brewery or you're not just this. And I know you like lagers. You mentioned the Helles is your favorite lager here. How important is it for you to keep that wide variety?
That was from day one. That was my objective because I came from like most of us, I came from a homebrewing background, and reading Jamil Zainashev's How to Brew Classic Styles, and he went through every single whatever the BJCF, whatever the homebrew judging guide is, but brew every single style, right?
Oh, yeah. Producer's note, BJCP.
BJCP, yeah.
Beer Judge Certification Program. You're actually not the first brewer that's totally forgotten, because who can remember that?
It's 4 letters, I know that, but that's about it.
Close enough.
That's why I keep Cody around, because he's a Google master. He can look things up.
Sure can.
Good thing.
He looks things up, and then he drinks things up. Those are the 2 important parts of being a producer.
So I like beer. I like a lot of different beers. And it depends on my mood. So like from day one, I knew I did not want to be pigeonholed.
Okay.
And of course this is in 2017. The hazies were just taking off, like exploding, and we made one in the first week or two of brewing.
Yeah.
But I did not want to be a hazy brewery. I didn't want to be pigeonholed. I like the idea of having a lot of different styles, a lot of different options and flavors. And so when I look at our draft list, I'm always, most of the time at least, I'm pretty happy that there's got to be something on there for almost anybody who wants to drink a beer.
Yeah, as I was looking at it when I got here, it is, I always think all right, would I come here with my wife? Because she likes different things than I do. Yeah. And I'm like, 1, 2, 3, yeah, she's set. All right. Oh, there's 4 that I would, and then there's some others that I just want to try because I'm curious.
Yep.
But I know I could go back to that. Let's go back to 2015. So you and your wife, Beth, who not only designs all of the labels for all the cans here at Roaring Table, I'm sure she does a lot of other things as far as marketing and social media and who knows what else.
She has 2 jobs. I only have one.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you guys sit down and you have a conversation where you discuss wanting to own a brewery. I've had crazy ideas that I've brought up to my wife, and she just walks into another room. How does this conversation go, and where was the seed that made this conversation possible?
Well, I had been working in corporate stuff, and I got laid off. Okay. And for Christmas of, I think, 2006, my sister-in-law got me a homebrew kit.
Okay.
And I started kind of like, I've always loved beer, but I just thought it just came out of the wall. I didn't realize that people made it. So I started learning about how to make beer, and that just was fascinating to me. And so I did one batch with extract, and then I built an all-grain rig, and I started homebrewing, and I just went down the rabbit hole. And the next year I went to Siebel, and then I got a job at Mickey Finn's, where I worked for a long time under Greg Brown, who's been at Art History and now is starting a new place up in Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
With a guy. But, so having worked at Finn's for a long, long time, I realized, like, I'm definitely not getting younger. So it's like I always kind of wanted to have the kind of control, the creative control of having my own place. But the truth is that it takes a lot of money to do this. And so we...
Wait, it's not just for fun?
It's not just for fun, although some days it feels like that's the only thing I get out of it. But but we said, let's do it. We scrounged together some money. My family got involved, and we cobbled stuff together on the, relative cheap. And that's how we got going. And then now it's 8 years later, and I'm working at 7 o'clock at night still.
Well, that's we're glad you were here. So, what brought you to Lake Zurich and the strip mall that we're in? Was it the proximity to TJ Maxx? Was that the deciding factor?
Trader Joe's is the biggest influence on me. I go there a lot. But no, we looked at a lot of buildings and a lot of spaces in a lot of different towns, and we had these sort of romantic visions of something really unique and special.
Okay.
But the reality was, and it comes back to that story about money again, was that the strip mall had the infrastructure we needed at a price that was reasonable, and the foot traffic and all that stuff that you kind of think is good. And so we said, all right, let's be realistic. And so we picked this, and we just live down the road. This is where we're from. So.
Nice. Well, before we get back to the beer, let's talk about the space, because you came in and you and Beth completely redesigned this space, and it's very welcoming. It's very warm. What was the vibe, and how did the design come about?
Well, my wife Beth is a graphic designer, and she's got a very particular eye, which is what is required when you're in that kind of business. And she's done a great job on modeling our houses and stuff. And so her goal, there was 2 goals. One was we wanted you to walk in here and forget that you were 150 yards from a Taco Bell drive-thru,
yes.
Right? And the other thing...
That's good. That's bad for... Cody loves Taco Bell drive-thrus.
But, you just want to forget about it for a while. The other thing was we wanted it to be, couple-friendly.
Okay.
We did a lot of research in the years before we started this, and there was a lot of places where I wasn't really allowed to have a second beer because we're standing in a cold warehouse, and Beth's feet are cold, and she's like, we gotta go. We're leaving. So the goal was to make this a place that couples, women, anybody would feel comfortable and cozy. I mean, we have a fireplace, we have a lounge, the wallpaper, the plants. I think that Beth really wanted this to be more feminine, I guess.
Well,
than some
while
of the
you
average.
can still see the brew house and the tanks, it is very refined for a tap room. It looks really good. She did a nice job. So, was there a moment you mentioned you were working at Mickey Finn's Brewery, which is where? What town?
Libertyville.
In Libertyville. So
yeah.
you're working at Mickey Finn's. Was there a particular moment that you remember going, it's time? I know you said you realized you were getting older, but we all realized that. Was there something that made you go, now's the time?
Well, I had been there for a long time, and I had kind of, like a lot of these places, it's really, some of these breweries are one and a half person jobs, 2-person jobs, so there's like, you get proficient at what you're doing, and then that's maybe kind of it, right? Because you're not going to get the other guy's job necessarily, so if he's still there. So I at the same time, you have all these ideas, like I'd like to try this, I'd like to do that, but the only way I can do that is if I do it, on
for
my
yourself,
own.
yeah.
So I think it was just kind of like, this is a now or never moment after a long stint working for Greg. So
very nice. Well, you mentioned that you love lagers and you focus on traditional things. As I'm sitting in the tap room, I see 2 beer engines.
Yep.
I see a LUKR handle.
Yeah.
And I also saw a stichfass, Cody.
Look at you dropping vocabulary words.
I do research.
Yeah.
So that somebody else, like Lane, can explain what it is. So I don't sound like a doofus.
Sure.
Or a gallant.
Yeah, I mean, you still might, but
all right. So here's the thing. Let's start with the beer engines, which we've talked about before. And you have two beers on there. You have a English mild.
Yep.
Which I had both of them. English mild, and then what was the other? Is that the hazy?
I think it's like a best bitter.
The best bitter.
Yeah.
So I had them both, and they were really good.
Thank you.
And we've talked about how the beer engine comes out of a cask. But for the uninitiated, like I know when you drink a beer out of a cask, it's a different temperature, and it doesn't have that overpowering effervescence or carbonation that a lot of beers do.
Yeah.
What causes that, and how do you explain it to somebody who's never had a cask beer before? Because, like, if you go to England and a lot of places in Ireland, that's the beer to drink.
Well, cask is it's naturally carbonated inside of the firkins. We have two fridges for that we keep at English cellar temperature, which is about 50 degrees.
And what's for reference then? What if they get your pilsner or they get the Dunkel?
That's at about 41 degrees.
Okay, so that's a big difference, right?
A big difference, and then the volumes of CO2 that are dissolved into the beer are considerably different, right?
Yeah.
So like a cask beer, which is naturally carbonated, which is just capturing the CO2 from the tail end of fermentation, might be at somewhere around 1.2, 1.3 volumes of CO2, whereas the Hell is 2.6.
Oh, wow.
Quite a big difference. And then the difference between a 40-degree beer and a 50-degree beer is considerable because the aromatics come out. And so the English tradition is lower ABV beers, right?
Okay.
So they drink milds and bitters in 3%, 4% range. So those beers, if you're not careful, they can come off as sort of insipid, right? They can come off as watery. So letting them warm up and allowing the CO2 to be lower helps get the most out of what goes into them, which isn't very much.
Yeah, because your bitter, I think, is 3.4%.
Yeah, something like that.
Which was good because I was like, I could drink a bunch of these.
They're meant for all-day drinking.
All-day drinking,
right? Yeah.
Which is, so are we, quite frankly, Lane.
Yeah.
We're meant for all-day drinking,
yes,
too.
Indeed.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who've never had a cask beer, so when they sit down here at Roaring Table and they get one, do you have, right on your website, when you describe the cask beer, you say, they're not warm, they're not flat. But is that something you have to tell people before they try one?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I was nervous.
Okay.
We started with one engine, and I felt I was worried that I was going to have to drink all of that beer myself. But our clientele has taken to it really well.
Nice.
We have some true real Englishmen who come in here, and so after a fairly short period of time, it became popular.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are still some folks who need a little help from Connor or whoever, but I've been pleasantly surprised at how well people have taken to it and kind of understand or adapted to the idea that, this is a different kind of beast than what you're used to.
It's a nice change for people who haven't had it before? And I know I mentioned the LUKR handle,
Yep.
which we've mentioned before. You posted a video where you were very proud that you got your LUKR handle. What does that do to a lager that a regular tap doesn't do?
Well, LUKR is a Czech faucet that has a, it produces wet foam. It's a ball valve with a little screen in the faucet, and so it breaks CO2 out as it goes in, so it softens the beer, and then also the foam is wetter. It's
Okay.
like it's more beery, so you get this like pleasant wet custard flavor.
Okay.
Like we do a milk pour, which is just foam.
Oh, wow.
Which is a thing in the Czech Republic apparently, but it's cool. It's fun. We also have a two spout Japanese sharp pour faucet. We take some.
What is that?
It's pretty. It's like apparently in Japan. I don't get out much, so I haven't been there. But you pour the first part of the beer through the front spout, and then you push back, and you get this delicate, tight beaded foam on top of that.
Oh, wow.
And you run that over the edge of the glass, and then cut it with like a spatula almost, right?
Ooh.
And all the CO2 in the beer is being trapped by the foam. And I think that's why they call it a sharp pour, because the CO2 does not escape. So when you take that first sip, you're getting the full...
Getting the whole thing.
It's the opposite of a cask pour,
Wow.
basically, yeah.
So, and are there certain beers that you pour out of that?
Just our rice lager.
Just the rice lager,
Yep.
which is called...
Rice.
Rice, that's right.
Yeah.
I had one of those on my plate, too.
Yeah. I like that one a lot, and it's just
really crisp. So if people don't know, and then we're going to take our break, and we'll find out about a stichfass when we come back. But for a Japanese rice lager, how is that different? Because to me, it had a really dry, crisp flavor. How is it different from a German Pilsner or a Czech Pilsner?
Well, it's highly attenuated, right? So
what does that mean?
Well, that almost all the sugars have been consumed by the yeast, right?
Okay.
So the final gravity of the beer is down at 1 to 1.5 Plato. So whereas our Helles is I don't know, like 3 Plato. So it's it's meant to be dry.
Yeah.
Less sugar is dry, right?
Sure.
And then we use this very expensive but delicious jasmine rice to give it this sort of like, I hate to get fancy, but like almost this ethereal.
Get fancy.
Yeah, like just it's a perfumey kind of like, it seems sweet, but when you swallow it, you realize it's completely dry.
Oh, wow.
I love that like change up that happens with beers like that, where it's like you get a soft sweetness in the first part of the sip, and then you swallow it and you're like, oh, I need another sip right away. It's dry.
Yeah.
So
it was really good.
I like it.
It's again, that's another thing that people don't see a lot. So it goes to show brewers who use the engines or the LUKR or the sharp pour, they're putting a little something extra into and there's a number of people who are doing it, and it shows in what they're producing.
Well, beer service, which is the idea of how you present the beer, the glassware, the faucets you use, temperatures. That's what really makes a tap room a place to come to, right? Because anybody can open a can of beer at home, and I've done that a few times myself.
Sure.
But when you put some effort into the service of beer in a setting like this, I think everything just is a little bit like when I drink my Helles, my favorite version of it is this.
Okay. Perfect.
I like the cans
sitting in the
but like when you pour it, we have a Euro faucet, we pour it, and then you get this beautiful foam on top, and it just, to me, it just is like, it's just a little something extra.
Well, there was a lovely head on this Dunkel when it came here, but now I'm almost done with it. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to have Brewer's Choice. We're going to find out about a stichfass and so much more. Lane Fearing is my guest.
Are we going to talk? Are we going to talk about the Dunkel? Did you talk about what it tastes like?
We'll talk about it. Well, what do you think
we're
it tastes like?
drinking it now. Let's just do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's drink it. I love it. It's got a dark chocolate, malty kind of, but there's also, I read this description, and how do you get it? A pumpernickel?
Yeah, like a little bit of a rye bread, or like a dark, whatever the dark grandma bread that you had when you were a kid.
Pumpernickel,
Yeah.
There's a spice to it, and for the broader listener. So I'm a big fan of like Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Yep,
I like that one, and it's got like a spice to it, right? This doesn't have that kind of spice, but that's like more of a heavy spice, I think. This is like more subtle,
but you also get a lot of the malt in it, don't you?
Smooth
don't you agree?
and malt, yeah. So it's definitely different, but that's like the only comparison my mind went to. But this is better.
I like it.
I gotta say.
So what is for the uninitiated? They know I love dark beers, but what exactly is what makes a Dunkel a Dunkel?
Well, the way I understand it, Dunkel was the Munich lager that everybody drank until 1842 when the Czech pilsner came online,
really?
Right? And
those Czechs.
And it was a German guy, but he but the blonde pilsner took over the world, and the Munich people tried to resist, but eventually they realized
you got to give in.
Yeah, and that's when they came up with Helles. But the Dunkel was the long-standing beer, and it's a darker beer. It's the whole kilning technology and things that made malts go from every beer was dark to like now all of a sudden we can have light beer.
Yeah.
But Dunkel is a wonderful, especially this time of year. It's just
great.
It's just kind of an old school malty lager with a little bit of that noble hop spice.
Yeah, just a tiny bit, and it's only 5.4%.
Yeah.
Is that right? So it's not people. We've always talked about people who look at a dark beer and go, "Oh, that's going to be like syrup."
Yeah,
not at all. You are completely wrong.
Oh, this is light. It's light and crushable.
Light and malty, and yes, we may have some more. But we're going to try something else because Brewer's Choice is coming up next. Lane Fearing is here. He's the co-owner and brewer here at Roaring Table Brewing, 739 Route 22 in Lake Zurich, Illinois. Go to roaringtable.com for all the info. We'll be back on Crafty Brewers.
Now you're allowed to take a break.
Thank you.
I'm the boss.
Welcome back to Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer. We are at Roaring Table Brewing in Lake Zurich, Illinois. RoaringTable.com is their website. And we are here with co-owner and brewer Lane Fearing. We mentioned the casks, or the beer engines. We mentioned the LUKR handle. We mentioned the sharp pour. You also have a stichfass. I have never heard of a stichfass.
Yeah.
I think it's me swearing in another language, but I'm not sure, so don't at me. What is a stichfass? Why is it here? And what does it do?
Well, apparently it explodes all over the ceiling if you don't know how to use it right, which is what I found out to my chagrin when I first tapped it. But no, it's a gravity keg. It's a German celebratory keg. So you fill it up, and then there's a valve on the bottom. You tap it in.
And is that when you at Oktoberfest when you see the guy with the mallet?
Yeah, the mallet, and you smack it in. But if you don't do it the right way, you end up with beer dripping from the ceiling, and that's what I did the first time. Although I learned my lesson, and the next couple times I managed to keep the beer in the.
Did you just not hit it hard enough, or
no? There's a vent. There's a vent on top. You're supposed to vent it, and then unvent it before you tap it in, because when you tap it in, there's nucleation of the CO2 that's in there, and So I learned my lesson.
All right.
So be careful out there, everybody.
A stitch. Be careful. Yeah. That's what we learned, kids. Be careful with a stichfass.
Yeah.
We're going to get into more beer, but people may see that I have in front of me a plate of pizza. Now, to me, heaven is pizza and beer.
Yeah.
Sitting on a deck with my dogs. That to me is heaven. My wife can come, but she's not a deal breaker. This is a big deal for you, not because it's pizza and you love pizza, but what's happening here?
Well, we have a new kitchen, and we make pies in our new kitchen, and they
wait, pizza or fruit pies?
We call them pies because of various reasons, but
you're legally required to call them pies.
Perhaps,
all right? Perhaps.
But they are in the Italian spirit, and we have a Chicago thin crust. We have a Detroit pan pizza, which is wonderful, and then the New York style, which everybody knows about.
Yes.
And Chef Dalton is doing some really exciting different flavor combinations, and we have different stuff on the regular. So, kind of like our beer, we have
wide variety of pies to go with a wide variety of beers.
Yep.
And nothing goes better. That's like a match made in heaven. It's pizza and beer and tacos and beer. That's
That's exactly right. And there's so many great tacos around here that we felt like, that's just not we're not going to be able to do that. But the pie thing we can do. So
there's a lot of. It's hard to do one style well. And I've tried two of these so far. This has been very hard, Cody, as I sit here with a plate of pies in front of me, not to devour them.
Yeah.
But we had the
you got the shot in. I think you should start eating. Yeah.
We're gonna get it all in. But
I also have some B-roll, so don't worry.
Oh yes, we do have B-roll. But you wanted to share something that you saw once. It was nice. Thank you, Lane. It was nice of Lane and Dalton to come in on his night off because the pies are here Wednesday through Sunday, right?
That's right.
So Dalton came in on his night off and cooked pies for us, which is a first. Future interviews, pay attention. This is, doesn't matter. We like to drink anyway. But they offered the pizza to everybody who was in here, and so the other customers are enjoying it.
Out of 50-some breweries we've talked to, this is the first time we've had pizza during the break, so no shade to the other breweries, but this is fantastic. And so this genuinely happened. So you told a bunch of customers, you're like, basically just grab some pizza, it's over here. There's more than we need.
There's no way we can finish all that. So.
And so this couple came out, and I saw the woman just kind of grabbed a piece real quick and then kind of scooped out like she was kind of being sneaky, like, I got a piece, we're gonna go. Right. And they go out, and like 10 seconds later the doors like fly back open, and she and her part, the male she was with, she walks in, she's just like, where are these pizzas from? These are unbelievably delicious. Like dead serious. And we're all just like, they came from here. Yeah. And she's just like, you're kidding, right? Like,
who made them? And Dalton's over at the bar, so we pointed him out.
Yeah, we've had a lot of pizza. Like, these are genuinely, all of them are really good. Really good. Like, and so I do like a Pizza Friday kind of thing at my house. I only eat pepperoni pizza. I'm boring. My wife can't stand it. I only eat pepperoni pizza. None of these are pepperoni pizza. I'm inhaling these right now. Like, these are all very tasty.
They're good.
Where'd you find this chef? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's you'll need a whole other podcast for that story. So
we'll do a combo podcast.
Yeah. That'll take too long.
All right, now that I've cleaned I'll eat this after.
Now I'm really curious about it.
We have two beers that we're going to try. You'll see in the B-roll that Cody shot, both came out of the Nitro.
No, one is. So there's the.
Let's start with the lighter one,
so
right?
This is the New Zealand pilsner, and that's just a normal faucet. Nothing. Now
I saw you in one of your dumpster chats, and if you haven't seen, follow Roaring Table on all the social medias, because Lane likes to go out in the alley and stand by a dumpster and talk. I felt bad for you. I found the content really entertaining, but I was like, why are they making the owners stand in the alley?
I go out there and to kind of relax after a long day, and I've myself and a few other friends have occasionally maybe had a cigar back there.
Oh, okay.
So I've become, it's just kind of a place to have a little me time after a long day and just sit quietly, and it happens to be by the dumpster, so we started doing the dumpster chats, and people seem to like that. So.
They're very good. But you mentioned the day that you were canning this, the New Zealand Pilsner, called And the Evening and the Morning.
And the Evening and the Morning.
And the Evening and the Morning. That you were using New Zealand hops. Now we've heard about hops from, the West Coast. We've heard about German hops and stuff. What's different about a New Zealand hop, and what flavors does it bring to a beer?
Well, Southern Hemisphere hops, Australia and New Zealand are the two big ones, and they overlap, right? But for me, there's always this kind of it's a kind of, and people take this the wrong way, but like petrol is a descriptor for like Sauvignon Blanc, right? There's a like a slight hint of sulfur, like from the thiols. It can be kind of savory almost, and then underneath that always is the passion fruit, the tropical fruits.
Okay.
And then the Sauvignon Blanc flavor also. So like Nelson Sauvin is a hop named after basically that idea, and probably the same region. But they're very unique. They're not, American hops are very citrus forward.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like Citra and, or else the old school stuff. But the Southern Hemisphere hops just have this very distinct, bright Sauvignon Blanc. It's hard for me to say.
They don't have, and I know all hops. The hop bitterness comes from a lot of different things. How long you leave them in, and this and that.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that. Are they less? Are New Zealand hops less bitter? For lack of a better term.
Nope. They have plenty of alpha acids. So you can. We chose to have a fairly. I think this is like 30 BUs maybe.
Okay. You can definitely taste that there's hops in there.
But it's not like a Northern German Pilsner, for instance. Okay. And one of the reasons is that these hops really are about the flavors. Yeah. The bitterness, you need some, but it's not the main star the way I'd say a Northern German Pilsner is. It's that lemon lime. I mean, I get a lot of lemon lime.
Yeah.
It's like a Pilsner, but with hops that are completely different.
I looked over because this is usually when Cody weighs in, but he is gorging his face with pizza like he's on death row. Take a breather. Have a sip of this Australian Pilsner, and nobody's coming to take your plate. It's okay. There's a lot of people in here just vibing to vinyl. They're not coming to steal your food.
We'll have more tomorrow.
Vibing to vinyl, you got to explain that.
It is Tuesday night. We're recording on a Tuesday night. This is a little behind the scenes. And it's vinyl night. Tuesdays are vinyl night here at Roaring Table.
Yeah.
So, all right, this is one of those things where I got here at 5 o'clock. The bar was full. There was one seat at the bar, and I took it. And it was people who all had stacks of vinyl in front of them. How did this particular... And then the crowd flipped. Those people left, and a new crowd came in with new vinyl.
Yeah.
So you've got a turntable over there. How did this start?
This has probably been a couple years now, and I don't know if it was Beth or Jen, our taproom manager. I don't know who came up with this, but Tuesdays are obviously school nights and not big nights but we thought somebody thought let's have a vinyl night where you bring in your own records, and to our great delight, a lot of people around here, especially our loyal regulars, are vinyl people.
Yeah.
And so I've heard some songs in here that I would have never ever heard if it wasn't for vinyl night.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, I say it's like anything can happen night, because
it's true.
It can go from the Rolling Stones to ABBA to some kind of weird...
Well, now we have Elvis live from Hawaii cranking out, which is excellent. But and people brought in stacks.
Yep.
And you could tell these were not... these were... Because I also watched kind of a demographic shift from the first shift of vinyl night to the second shift of vinyl night, and these people had worn out vinyls. The jackets were beat up. You knew these people had listened to these records for a long time.
There's some real aficionados of that, and it's another sort of like happy accident, I guess, for us. But now we have people come in pretty much every Tuesday to do it. So,
and it goes back to what you said, talking about creating a place that people will feel comfortable.
Yeah.
How much more comfortable can you feel when you bring your own music? It's like drinking in your basement.
The other part of this story that we try to tell is Roaring Table. The name, the idea of it is for me, the image of my family and friends up in Wisconsin, where I spend a lot of time drinking beer on a deck and just making noise and having fun.
Definitely,
and that's the Roaring Table. So the idea of a place for people who kind of get it and want to hang out together. That's what we wanted to create with this place.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we've had the New Zealand Pilsner,
Yeah.
which is really good. It's got the New Zealand hops. Do you have any thoughts now? Have you
No
cleansed your
thoughts.
palates?
No thoughts. Okay, get on the mic. What are you doing here?
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not hear me insult you? Should I insult you more into the microphone?
Yep.
All right.
That's what we call content, Brian.
I know it. People
No,
love it.
it's nice, it's smooth, and I get what you're saying about the difference between the American hops, right? Like, this is not that citrusy, kind of what you were talking about, that it doesn't have that zest. I like it. I prefer it.
It's not as if these hops haven't been used for a while now, but they are so distinct, and I think on a really light, crisp Pilsner body, it's fun. It's like you don't need to always drink IPAs to get
Right.
some of your hops, itch scratched. And I've been drinking this quite a bit. I like it a lot.
It's really tasty. And now this one was Nitro. The second beer that you brought out,
Yep.
it was Nitro. And when you see the footage of this, not only did it have a nice thick head, but you could see
That cascade, right?
cascade
Yeah.
all through it. And what is this?
So this is deeper gold, and it's kind of it's a pub ale, but on nitro. So we have this cool nitrogen injection system, so you can get the real deal in terms of that vigorous cascade, and then you just the head is just these incredibly tight little bubbles.
Yeah.
So, but it's basically an English pub ale.
What is that for people who haven't had a pub? What is a pub ale, and then how does it differ from a bitter, which is a misleading nomenclature that we've talked about
bitter's
before.
bitter's
a bad name.
It's a bad name. They
for
made
a
a
beer that
mistake
is
with
nothing bitter about it.
Right.
So what's a pub ale?
Well, it's kind of a catch-all term for me. What it means is English malt, maybe maybe a little English caramel malt, English yeast, which expresses some esters of stone fruit, or sometimes you get a little plum or cherry. English hops. We like East Kent Goldings. That's pretty much our favorite, and that has kind of a. It's like the English noble, right? It's got some spice. Some people say it's got a little earthiness, but I'm okay with that.
Earthiness.
I
I like the way
in
you
a
say
bad
it.
way.
For the snobs out there.
Well,
It's earthy.
But earth, some people think earthy is bad, but I think earthy can be a component that balances sweetness and adds complexity to something that would otherwise be, a fairly low ABV. But a pub ale is an ale to drink with your buddies and have a bunch of, basically.
And it's a nice caramel color, a little lighter.
There's a little color
it's
in
very
there.
nice. Now it has a little bit of the same. Does the nitro add a carbonation level, sort of like the beer engine, because it's not overly carbonated?
So this beer is basically it's close to flat before it hits that nitrogen injector.
Oh, okay.
Right? So nitrogen and CO2 are very different beasts in terms of beer, and so we let this ferment out. Maybe it's there's always a little residual CO2 in the beer, so say 1 volume, and then we push it through this little device, and the nitrogen is not very soluble in beer,
Okay.
so it's
Just boom.
it's getting out of there. But in doing so, it creates this beautiful, beautiful foam.
How do you get the beer to be, as you said, almost flat before it goes into the nitrogen? What?
We ferment it out. We let all the CO2 from fermentation escape, and then we put it into a different tank, and we don't carbonate it.
Wow.
Don't force carbonate it, any of that.
All right. It's
So
it's
you
a
get
nice,
that creamy
yes,
vibe, right?
It is creamy. Cody, any thoughts?
It's
on
like
this
floating on clouds.
one? Wow.
See, what I'm really doing over here is I'm trying to figure out which beer pairs best with a pizza. And to
is
do
that the research
I
you're
had to
doing?
take a bite of pizza, then drink a beer, then have the bite of the
That's a
same
good
pizza.
practice.
Yeah, right?
Here's the answer. Have you taken a bite and had a sip that didn't go together?
Incorrect?
Oh, you have.
No, I haven't.
Of course you haven't, because there's not. There's an old adage about no such thing as bad pizza, but there truly There truly is no such thing.
I think
as,
I've heard that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. But we don't want to equate it here.
It's
I'm contractually obligated not to mention that.
Yeah.
But
It's a family
there's
show.
no bad pie in pizza.
What is
or
on
bad
this?
pie in beer?
The Detroit style, there's like a sweet glaze on it.
Is
Like-
that the Detroit onion one?
Yeah.
It has caramelized onions. It's a French onion pizza, Cody. It's got caramelized onion and then a porcini drizzle on top.
That drizzle?
It's a porcini drizzle.
I am losing my.
I pay attention.
I'm losing my
I like
mind
that. I
over
didn't
this
know-
pizza
I didn't-
over here.
It's really good, and the crust is very airy.
Dude.
Sometimes you get a Detroit, and it's a heavy crust. It's a very airy, crisp crust. You also have the block cheese that they use traditionally on a. I talked to Dylan for about 48 seconds, and it's funny. I don't remember my wife's name. I talked to this guy for 48 seconds. I know the entire recipe, and I can make this pizza at home tonight. It shows where my priorities lie. It's very sad,
that's
quite
impressive.
frankly. I'm sorry. Who are you again?
Yeah, right.
All right. A couple other things. So you mentioned the kitchen just opened.
Yep.
We have also talked about the fact that you guys have been doing a lot in a small space.
Yep.
So what's next for Roaring Table?
So we bought a really nice brew house and cellar a year and a half ago or longer, and it's been collecting dust next door.
Okay.
Because of course we buy it right when everybody decides they don't like beer anymore or something. That's what the New York Times is trying to say.
I
to
saw
us.
that article in
Yeah.
the New York Times.
Yeah.
I know they're the paper of record, but their record is not playing.
Yeah,
Roaring
I'm not convinced.
Nor am
but
I.
But things have been tough. Things have been tough for everybody in beer and craft
Sure.
beer in particular. So we are biding our time and saving our dimes and stuff to install that, which is a considerable expense as well.
Sure.
But our hope is to eventually have this lovely automated 15-barrel system where we can make a lot more beer and distribute throughout the Chicagoland area and have a bigger presence in this region, I guess.
As a brewer, what logistically is going to change if you go from the system you're on now to that much bigger system? I mean, you already have the recipes. Is the scaling up
It's
pretty easy?
It's just
or?
gonna. I mean, I'm sure we'll have to do a little R&D on that, but I don't expect it to be too hard. But the benefits will make it just be so much easier for every unit of liquid that is produced. Will be so much less back-breaking effort.
Okay.
And I'm tired of breaking my back. I'm sure Ryan is too, and he's a lot younger than me. So
Yeah.
the hope is that we can have a big boy brewery and
Okay.
and make a bigger quantity of beer and do it in a way that is a little more reasonable.
Very nice. And then you won't have to work as hard.
That's
You
that's
won't
what
have
I
to be
hope.
doing things the hard way anymore.
I'm happy to change that tagline if I ever get to that point.
That is a good goal. We mentioned a couple times, 8 years. You weathered the pandemic because you guys had started canning a year before, so you made that pivot which saved you. Out of all the success and all the struggles and everything that you've gone through to this point, what are you the most proud of here at Roaring Table?
I mean, you could say a lot of different things to that question, but I will say that the thing I'm most proud of is the beer that we make. When I drink our beer, and I do it on the regular, I say to myself, this is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of the efforts and, the extra miles that I went for the first couple of years, and then Ryan came on, and now he does most of it, but we go that extra mile, and I believe that our beer is. I really do believe our beer is world class.
It is really good, and that's not. I mean, we're not here to rate the beers, but as I said at the very beginning of the episode, when other brewers are saying you have to go drink this beer, that's a testament to what you guys are doing and that the hard work is paying off.
Yeah.
So. Good for you. All right, it is time to move to the final four. We ask the same four questions of every brewer on this show. Sit back, settle in. Here we go. Lane. The first one, the hill you'll die on, which is maybe there's a style that's wonderful to some people. It's very popular. Oh, the kids can't get enough of it. But for whatever reason, you're just not brewing it.
A milkshake IPA.
Are you serious? That's what?
We had about 30 brewers in a row say that.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it's not very original, but
I'd say it doesn't have to be original.
Yeah,
it has to be true. What is it?
It makes it better than
Yes.
more have said it.
Because I guess we're starting an anti-milkshake IPA movement here on the program. What is it about milkshake IPAs for you?
The lactose and the just
I like that you are physically uncomfortable talking about milkshake IPAs.
it's not my jam
All right.
at all.
So if you want milkshake IPAs, don't come to Roaring Table. Come for the world-class beer and the world-class pies. I'm going to get used to saying that. All right, question number 2. A beer that you brewed, and it might have been really popular, or maybe it didn't quite hit the mark, but for whatever reason, you're just like, that's not coming back.
It was a milkshake IPA.
Was it really?
Yeah. It was. It was a beer called Candy Squeeze, and we made one, and people seem to like it, and I will never make it again. So.
All right, very good.
And that was 3 or 4 years ago. But I've drawn some lines in the sand. So
I like that. I like that you're not just caving into, customers' demand. Customers be damned. No, that's not true. That's why my opinions are just my own, and for good reason. Number 3, your go-to off-the-clock beer. It could be one of your own. It could be something else.
it's my Helles.
The Helles?
Yeah.
What is it that makes your Helles different than a lot of Helleses that are out there?
Well,
Because I had it when I came, and it was...
The most important thing is it's relatively free for me, so I don't have to pay for it.
See, that's a nice...
So, yeah. But I like it. I think it's good. We use German malt, German hops, German yeast. We use a special water chemistry for that guy, and I like Helles a lot, and I like my Helles. I mean, I like other people's Helles too. But
Helles is a good style.
They usually make me pay for it, and that just throws me off a little bit.
I thought there was like brewer kind of that thing. That, quid pro quo.
No, I don't. I have like the joke is that no brewer knows what beer costs because you never pay for it. But,
that's nice.
It's
like when a president goes to get a gallon of milk and thinks it's $1.75.
Yeah. It's groceries. It's a old time term, right? No, but I like our Helles. I drink that one a lot.
Helles is a good choice. And the final question, and we've talked about it a little bit with your pies, and we talked about it, but your favorite beer and food pairing?
Oh boy! All right, here goes. I'm gonna say a al pastor taco with cilantro and onion, and a Bohemia. Bohemia Mexican lager, the best Mexican lager made in Mexico. Bohemia is my favorite Mexican lager.
Really? Okay.
Without a doubt. And you have a bottle of Bohemia, maybe squeeze a little lime in there, and an al pastor taco, cilantro, and white onions, and it's wonderful.
Do you get a little bit of pineapple on there?
Yeah, that's a good pastor has pineapple. Yeah, for sure.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much. Before we go to our final toast, Cody, which you always forget to save yourself a little beer for the final toast.
Oh,
because you have an issue. You have a problem. I'm not going to lie to you. But before we go to our final toast, I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer. Please be sure to support your local brewery. Lane said it. Everybody we talk to says it, and you know it. Without your support, it's tough going for some of your favorite breweries. So get out there, drink their beer, tip the staff, come in on vinyl night or whatever else they're offering, and support, because the world would suck without local tap rooms. Let's be honest. Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer is produced by award-winning podcast producer and pizza and pie and beer vacuum Cody Goff. You can visit our website to browse our archive of more than 50 episodes. You can check out our brand new merch store, or you can get in touch with us at CraftyBrewersPod.com. We release a new episode of Crafty Brewers every other Thursday on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. You want to support the show? Why not? leave a comment on our YouTube video. Cody, why should people leave comments on the YouTube videos?
Because it helps us. You just sit it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, don't think about it. It doesn't cost anything. Put, hey, nice hair, Cody, or wow, Brian let that pizza sit an inordinate amount of time. We can't believe he didn't devour it in one swoop. Whatever you want to say, do that. Thanks again to our guest, Lane Fearing. He is the co-owner and brewer here at Roaring Table Brewing, for joining us. We really appreciated having you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And now we've come to our final toast. I'm Brian Noonan. All right, what are we thankful for today? Lane, we'll start with you. What would you like to toast today?
I'm going to toast the emptying of very difficult bourbon barrels and the fact that I don't have to do that again for another year.
That sounds good. Cody the G. Who got a beer refilled?
Yeah, so the pizza, but also my man Josh over here, who just helped me fill up my glass. Like you're saying, you got good people here at this brewery. So cheers to that.
I'm going to toast to traditional styles served traditional ways and traveling to Lake Zurich, which I don't do often, but I'm going to do again. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Delish.